Hey, bestie. Glad you made it to another chill session. As y'all can see, I don't really have a scheduled day, but I make sure I get us at least one session in every week. I honestly am a little surprised at some of the people that have told me they listen to the sessions. I love to hear it, but I can't lie. I definitely didn't expect it, so thank y'all. Now, I want to circle back and give a shout out to my cousins. Man, say, if you don't know, then let you know. We a whole vibe. And when you chilling with us, you automatically become one of our cousins. Like I've been saying from the beginning, if don't nobody support, I know they will. So thank y'all again, and I love all y'all ninjas. All right, besties. I'm going to give y'all a little more insight to one of the bullshit relationships I gave too much time to. Y'all have heard him being referenced in other sessions as Fat Boy, but I finally decided to dive in and give y'all all the tea. Well, as much tea as I want to talk about. And I was gonna do like a live story time, but I changed my mind. I might do a live story time on him, but I don't feel like I don't know, y'all. But for now, this is what he get. This is what y'all get. Okay. Now remember, I ain't trying to teach you nothing, but if you learn something, that's good. So let's get into it. Okay, besties. Now, anytime I revisit some toxic shit from my past, I like to remind y'all that I am in a great place, mentally and emotionally now. Not only relationship-wise, but me individually. I am truly in a peaceful state of mind, which makes it easier and even comical when I talk about what I've been through. Cool. That's clear. I'll go ahead and really get into it. So, I don't know if y'all ever heard the term of a presentation or your self-representative. That's usually for the people that's not authentic or they're not comfortable with themselves. That's usually who you meet when you first meet them. Whether you meeting them to be their friend, relationship, whatever. Some people, I ain't gonna say everybody because I'm not them, and I know that I've been around people that are always themselves. So not everyone gives a representative when you first meet them, but in this case, this nigga gave a representative. So this story starts around October 2020. I had left Bo in January. Day one besties know what's up. And finally had cut off the stupid ass Waxahachie nigga for good. And I was completely single. I was on my dating sites, had a few people I was texting, and was entertaining a few dates, but no relationship talk with anyone. If you heard the love story session, then you heard my process of how I used to pick who I would talk to. For the besties that's a little behind, here's my process, or my qualifications checklist, whatever. Nobody under 6 feet, nobody younger than me, no kids under 3, no more than 2 kids. Then I also read the little bio and whatever they put on the profile, and if it was blank or said some stupid shit, then it was an automatic pass. After a while, I would give passes to myself based on the profile. So if he was shorter than 6 feet, but was at least 5'9" and everything else was good, then cool. I needed a little something else though, you know? Now, I had a few dating profiles, but Facebook dating became one of my favorites. Pretty much my favorite. So one day, I had a message from a handsome-faced man, read the bio, and it was pretty detailed and along the lines of what I was looking for when it came down to relationships, or, what I was looking for. All boxes were checked, but physically, he wasn't my type. As I stated, he did have a handsome face, but he was bigger than I liked and than I was used to. Definitely nothing against bigger men, just had never been what I was attracted to. And I'm not one of them people that is saying that because it's just a big person. Like, in my younger days, I had dated bigger men and it just wasn't for me. Okay? So, but I decided to put that to the side based on the things he had in his profile. So we exchanged messages for about a week or so on the app. And eventually he gave me his number. We started texting. He seemed nice and was willing to, and I was willing to try something different. So after we exchanged numbers, we talked and texted a few times, and he asked to take me to the movies. This was like maybe about a week and a half after we had kind of been exchanging messages or whatever. So we met up and went to the movie. Exchanged numbers, my bad. So we met up and went to the movies, and I did enjoy myself. He seemed to be a gentleman. He opened doors, paid for the date, and conversation was constant. Of course, not during the movie, but we chilled before and after the movie, so we had some little talking time. He told me that he wanted to hang out again and that he enjoyed my company. So we ended up going out. I want to say that was a Saturday. So that Monday, we linked up. He was doing some little, that Tuesday, my bad. He was doing some little thing with his friends, and he invited me out. It was like a little music showcase type thing. So I met him there. We hung out or whatever. Actually, I think we rode together. I don't really remember, but we went there together. And we hung out. It was cool. It was like a club setting, so we had some drinks. I danced a little bit. I was in a car club at the time, so in the place that we went, I saw a few of my people that I knew from the car club world, so I was hanging out with them, and it was a good little vibe or whatever. So that night we hung out and talked a little bit, and then after that night we pretty much saw each other almost every day after that, moving forward. Just hanging out in the car, talking literally for hours. We talked about our past relationships. Excuse me, y'all. Him and I were both fresh out of bad marriages and talked about what we looked for in relationships and so on. Well, pay attention, man. Y'all, this man over here get on my nerves. Side note. If you know, you know what man I'm talking about. Anyways, although I had been entertaining people, a lot of the conversation was one-sided or shallow. So it felt good to talk to someone that seemingly knew what they wanted and didn't have a problem with expressing himself. We had long conversations throughout that week, and we hung out a few more times as well. Within about 2 weeks, we were pretty much in a relationship. Now, as I said, we were both fresh out of bad marriages. So I'm going to go a little bit more into detail of the information I was given. So when I start letting y'all know about the bullshit, y'all will understand why it's bullshit. So we're in about the first month of dating. This is November 2020. He had left his wife, what he told me, in February 2020. And he hadn't talked to her then. Like, he said he didn't talk to her at all. He literally had no communication with her since February 2020. And that he had recently got out of a relationship in August with someone else. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool, whatever. I let him know my status with my ex, with Bo at the time, which was my status with him was nothing. We have a child, so at that time, she was still, seeing him every now and then or whatever. So we just continued to get to know each other. We talked about the type of people we were in relationships and socially as a whole. Like, when I say talked about the type of people we were in relationships, I don't know how y'all have conversations, but when you get to know somebody, me personally, I like to be my raw self from the beginning because I know I'm a lot. Like, I know that it takes a special person to deal with me. And I'm okay with that. I accepted that a long time ago. I also learned to accept that for me and my emotional state, it's better for me to give fucking 85% of who I am at the very beginning. And I say 85% because, of course, you got to allow somebody to get to know you so that they can come up with their own. And when I say 85%, I'm not saying that I show a different part of me. I'm just saying that everything that I am, I don't give it all in the beginning. And then once I'm getting to know this person and they're seemingly wanting to know more about me, then the other 15% come along, because that last 15%, that's the crazy shit, like where you realize, like, damn, she's crazy for real. But before I, let somebody take that step with me, they definitely know what they're getting into. You know what I mean? So that's what I mean when I say letting each other know the type of people we were in relationships and socially. For me, when I say socially, I'm like, I want you to know, especially when you meeting somebody, when I have one of my close friends my best friend is a man. So I try to let that be known, because I ain't one of them females that, oh, that's my best friend and then we used to fuck, but we just best friends now. No, that's really my best friend. That's my daughter's goddaddy, and he ain't going nowhere. So, that stuff is known. I don't talk to a lot of people, but the people that I do talk to are very, very close to me. And so when I hang out, that's usually who I'm with. So, just being open and honest about all of that. He was from the hood, but carried himself differently. He was into rock music, had tattoos and piercings that didn't really give you hood nigga vibes. This somewhat added to the attraction that I felt or whatever, because he wasn't like, in the beginning, he wasn't like rah from the hood type shit. Like, that's not the type of persona he gave or whatever. And he, like I said, rock music, that's literally 90% of the time, that's what he listened to. Now, that part, I kind of found out a little bit later, which kind of go into a little bit of the BS. The music part is not BS, but it goes into part of the representative. Because like I said, we used to listen to music all the time. And it was when we would talk all the time and chill all the time, get to know each other. And usually, it was a little mix. Every now and then, the little metal, rock, whatever would be in there. But it was more so what we were listening to was like R&B and, all of that. Okay. So we both had the expectation of being in a committed and loyal relationship. We were intertwined with each other's lives pretty quickly. My bad, y'all. My heating pad went off and it's cold. Okay. If you remember, I have said before that timelines are not priority to me. It's all about emotion and how the people involved choose to move. So for us, we were in a relationship as of November 10th, 2020. We were together for Thanksgiving, Christmas, and all between, and everything after, you know what I mean? Pretty much every day we were in each other's presence. I was working at CVS at the time, and he told me he was a photographer / videographer and a graphic designer, like, do like little edits and stuff online and for people's companies and stuff like that. But he did this for himself. He, told me he had his own company or whatever. That also was something that intrigued me, because my ultimate goal is to work for myself, to generate my own income. In the beginning of our relationship, we talked every day, like on the phone wise. And so he would tell me, how, like, for instance, if we would be on the phone, he'll be saying, oh, I'm gonna be in this meeting for 2-3 hours for this, blah, blah, blah. This is a meeting I have every week with this group of people, blase, blase. He would tell me, he going to photo sessions, or he just finished a photo session, or whatever the case may be. And so I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, oh, you really out here doing it. So I'm proud of my little businessman, you know what I mean? And when people would ask, what he did, that's, oh, he run his own company, whatever. Or he worked for himself, or he's a photographer. That's my response, because that's what he was telling me. Now, the relationship wasn't perfect. And unlike my current one, things had already gotten heated a few times. But we came back from it and we kept working on it. I was experiencing a different type of person of being in a relationship with, because I had always been the giver, the provider, the emotional one, the expressive one. That was always me. So to have somebody that kind of did that too and was willing to be open and vulnerable and honest and all of that, I was like, oh, bet, this is cool right here. You know what I mean? But in actuality, I'm not even realizing, and I'm not gonna lie to y'all, this is really a realization that I didn't have until I did experience being in an easy relationship. And of course, because I'm talking about a past relationship and I have to make it clear as to where my mind was, I may talk about the relationship I'm in or whatever, but I don't want y'all to think that's me comparing them as people or comparing the relationships, because it's not. It's honestly realizations that I had after being in something that is what it's supposed to be, or what I wanted to feel or needed to feel, if that makes sense. So, because I was experiencing something different, and because I was getting something that I wasn't used to getting, I was overlooking the fact that it was still toxic shit. You know what I mean? Like, when I literally, y'all, after I was in my relationship, I'm real, like, giddy when it come down to my mans. And so, like, I'll be looking at our little past text messages every now and then. I'll be like, damn, we really are a vibe. That's really my nigga. That's really my best friend. Like, we really just shoot the shit. We don't have stupid ass, spits and spats or whatever. So it made me go look at the messages from me and Fat Boy relationship and the beginning. And y'all, literally within the first few weeks, it's like shit that I should have been like, red flag type shit, but I wasn't, because I can't say why, but I would, y'all. Anyways, like I said, it wasn't perfect, but I was getting something different in a sense, and being presented someone that I felt like it was worth the little shit, because in my past, yeah, I had I had a long ass dress rehearsal wedding that lasted a long ass time, a dress rehearsal marriage that lasted way too long. So the little bitty arguments, that shit was almost normal to me. So it was like, yeah, I'm dealing with that, but he does this. He is able to do this. I'm not the one that has to do this. So, I'm thinking that I'm getting something in return for dealing with the little shit that I was dealing with. You know what I mean? So, our first big situation that made me look at shit like, okay. One day, he took me to work, and his phone, he was switching over plans, and so he took my phone with him so that I could, because I'm at work, I don't necessarily need my phone, and if I needed to contact him, I can call my cell phone. So he took my phone, and y'all, in any relationship I'm in, if I feel like I gotta hide shit from the person I'm with, we don't need to be in a relationship. And it's not that I expect them to go through my phone or anything like that, but I don't care. If you pick up my phone and you decide to go through it, if you see something in there that is questionable or whatever the case may be, then let's talk about it, because obviously I don't see shit wrong with whatever you see, so let's talk about it. You know what I mean? Whatever. So he took my phone, and it was just some people, you about to hand your significant other your phone, or they gonna be around your phone. You trying to make sure ain't nothing, damaging up in there. I ain't have to do none of that, because I don't hide anything. Like, that's just not me. So he dropped me off. I give him my phone or whatever. Like, I'm at work. He calls my job, and he, I'm like, what's up? So pause right there. Earlier that month, I think this happened in December. This happened like no. I'm lying. This was, y'all, this didn't happen in December, y'all. The situation that he brought up happened in December. Me and him had this little, I guess, words of it, like in January or whatever, like beginning of January, so almost like a month after. So in December, I had went to a bachelorette party, and there was a stripper there or whatever, and so the stripper, it was a home, in someone's, well, it was an Airbnb, and it was only a few of us, and we had a private stripper. So he, doing what he do, his little thing or whatever with everybody. Y'all, I don't know about everybody else. Personally, I prefer female strippers. I don't like male strippers. The little male review freaky shit, okay, it's cool, it's funny, whatever, but I don't like that shit. Sweaty ass men all up on you, pushing that little hard ass, fake ass penis they be having. I don't like it. So I prefer female strippers. And then the bachelorette party that we were at, it was a lesbian wedding, so I thought it was gonna be a female stripper, but it wasn't. It was a man. But whatever, participation, doing whatever. So while he had my phone, he done went through my phone, and he like, I thought you told me that you didn't touch the stripper. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? I was confused, like I didn't touch the stripper. He was like, he's like going off on me, y'all, like, I'm sitting here looking at you. What did he say? He literally got his whole face on you or something like that. And I was just like, okay, I don't. He's like, so you telling me I'm lying? No, I mean, if you're saying you're looking at a video, I'm definitely not telling you that you're lying, but I don't recall that. And I don't, whatever, but we can talk about it. Like, come up here, let's discuss this. Like I think maybe it wasn't December, it was like January, but this was our first like big thing that had happened. You know what I mean? So I'm really like, what the fuck? So he come up there during my lunch, and we're talking, and he pulls up the video. So anybody that has experienced the whole male review shit, or any fucking adult, that if you're at a stripper show, it's a stripper show. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the stripper is going to interact with you. You know what I mean? Like, even the lesbian bride that told him, I don't want to do it, he still did what he did with her. You know what I mean? Like, this is his job, first of all. He's entertainer, and you're literally jealous, like you mad about this whole stripper thing. So I'm really confused. So when we're talking about it, he like, you told me you didn't touch him, blase blase. And I'm like, well, okay, if you can look, it's not me touching him. He's doing his little thing that he did with everybody, with me, his little dance. And I think he like laid me on the floor, and he literally put a towel over my waist and did like the little stripper roll, whatever. Okay. And then that I maybe lasted for 45 seconds, a minute, I don't know. Who gives a fuck? It's a stripper. Then, y'all, the stripper was like this man that used to strip at the parties for my mom and them when I was a kid. Like, bro, and I'm not being funny, y'all. He was literally one of the strippers. I'm not exaggerating. Like, I'm being so serious. He's probably like 50. Sir, what the fuck? But I'm like, whatever. But when I was telling him that I didn't touch the stripper, after the stripper danced, he did a little freak show for everybody, and some of the women was all up on him, touching his little fake penis, and then after he unwrapped it, all that. That's what I was telling him I wasn't a part of, because I didn't care. You know what I mean? So, and that's what I explained to him. So I'm like, but if I'm being honest with you, it's a stripper. Like, if you were to go to a strip club or a bachelor party or whatever the case may be, I definitely am not feel no type of way about no stripper doing nothing to you, because the fuck, it's a stripper. Like, not saying like strippers are nasty or disgusting, because yes, ass and titties, but no, I'm saying like it's a stripper. Like, I know that's what a stripper is supposed to do. They're supposed to entertain. That's part of their entertainment. You know what I mean? Like, it was just too much. But he was like, and make him feel some type of way, whatever. And I'm like, okay, well, now we have the conversation. Now, if I'm ever in a position to where I'm around a stripper, I know you don't want me participating. Bam. Cool. Got that. Bet. This is, like January, okay? So now, fast forward to February. This is like the beginning of February. I really don't remember like when in February this was. And I'm only telling y'all these timelines and these little situations because of the situation that when I should have left, I had all of this shit that I just fucking okay, y'all. It's fine. We good. I'm good. I'm back. Woo. Here we go. So we got past that, whatever. Now, at this time, we were both in the same car club, and it was this little after-hour spot that we used to go to on Sundays. We used to go some other times with the car club or whatever, but they did karaoke on Sundays, and it was R&B karaoke, and it was lit. It was a hood spot. It was an after-hours, so I really didn't, I could literally take my little nap at 10 o'clock and get there 11:30, 12 and be good type shit, or leave 11:30, 12. You know what I mean? Because it was the after-hours spot. Then, so I started low-key being a little hype girl at the karaoke night or whatever. So they used to have me signing people up because, it's the hood. Motherfuckers really don't want to get up. But y'all know people will do it if I just made the vibe right. Made people want to get up there and do it. So it just became a little thing. So on Sundays, that was what we used to do, whatever. So one Sunday, I fell asleep. I'm knocked out before we went. So he wake me up and he sitting on the edge of the bed or whatever, and he just looking at me, and I'm like, I was at his house or whatever. We wasn't staying together. I just was always in his damn house at this point. So I wake up, he's just looking at me, and I'm like, you good? And he we need to talk. And I'm like, okay, what's up? He was like, what's this right here? What's this right here? So he got my phone, done went through my phone again. And he it was some in my Snapchat. Okay, so when me and him first started talking, mind you, when we first exchanged numbers or whatever, that was end of October, beginning November 2020. And the only reason why I say officially we were in a relationship November 10th, 2020 is because that's around the time that we just decided, okay, yeah, we ain't talking to nobody else. We cut everybody else off, whatever. So before November 10th, I literally maybe the end of October, I had made me a little private Snapchat. Now, for those of y'all that don't know what people usually do on private Snap, that's y'all business. I ain't got nothing to do with that. I ain't explaining to y'all. Because if you don't know, oh well. But I had a private Snap. Now, I literally just created the private Snap because this dude had added me to his. And I was like, oh, that's what private Snap is. Okay. And other people had me on that shit, but I didn't realize it because they wasn't doing all of that. So I was just like, let me just see what let me see this is about. So I went through the little process of adding a private Snap, and I see that you can add, you add who you want to see. It's not of course, public like how your regular Snap story is. So I had me a little private Snap. Now, I had the private Snap for 2 weeks, but I only posted on there maybe 3 times because I was like, oh, I'm scared. I was scared, y'all. Okay, so I only posted on there 3 times, and then me and him started hanging tough. So I was like, you know what, I do like him, even though I'm single technically. We hanging tough, and if he was to find out about this, I would feel some type of way, and I know he would feel some type of way, and I didn't want it to mess up a potential relationship. You know what I mean? So I ended my little private snap. Okay, I ain't tell him about the private snap for the same reason why I just explained to y'all why I ended it. You know what I mean? But we weren't in a relationship, so honestly, I didn't feel like that was something I needed to or had to disclose or whatever. And I'm gonna tell y'all, like I always say, I'm a keep it real type of person. So honestly, y'all, if I would have been like, if we had been in a relationship already when I made it or some shit like that, then yes, I definitely would have brought it up to him. But we wasn't in a relationship when I made it, and we wasn't in a relationship when I stopped using it, so I didn't see no reason to tell him about that, period. You know what I mean? But anywho, so when I deleted it, I like deleted my little stories or whatever. Well, I guess one of them, or I guess I had saved one of them. I had to, whatever. So that's the one that it was, he put up. He's like, what is this? I'm like, oh, I explained it to him. Because at this point, y'all, like I said, this is like, I can't remember if it was the end of January or February. It could have even been March. But this was like, it was definitely not after March. I do know that. So I'm just like, whatever, I explained it to him. I apologized that he felt, that I should have told him about it. But I explained to him, why I didn't tell him. That's literally the same thing I just said to y'all about how I didn't want him to look at me differently and judge me based off of me doing the little private snap. That's literally what I told him. Why, I didn't tell him about it. So he felt some type of way. He like, that's the internet and blase. Cool, whatever. I don't know what you want me to do. I definitely can't go back in time. I ain't never been able to do that. And like at this point, I'm kind of just like, I low-key feel like you're doing too much because we've been together for this amount of time. Like, it'll be different if like you can see the date it was like November 6th, 2020. So it'll be different if this was any time after we had been in a relationship, but it wasn't. So I understand why you feel the way you feel, and I apologize for making you feel that way, but I don't think it's that serious for us to keep on going back and forth about it. Bet, whatever. Okay, so we go on, have our little night. Now, us going to the little after hour spot, it was cool for me, like I said, because it was a chill spot. I ain't have to dress up or whatever. I'm not no going out type of person, but karaoke, yes, I will definitely turn up for karaoke, especially if I don't have to be in like a bougie ass element, or you know what I mean? Like if I could just be in my own zone and really chill or whatever, and then get my karaoke on and the vibe is good and vibe is chill. Y'all can hear that fucking dog? I bet y'all can. I'm sorry. He's excuse me. So yeah, like I liked going there. And if you know me, I'm gonna dance. If anybody know me and my cousins, if we don't do nothing else, we gonna shake some ass. But that's just who I am. Like honestly, y'all, that's my family. Like if you don't know my family, or if you ain't never been to none of my family functions, yo bad. But that's just us. Like we gonna turn up, and that's what we do. So he had said to me a few times, he had brought up to me like he felt some type of way about my dancing and only wanted me to dance facing him, like for my ass to be facing him only. It don't need to be faced nowhere else. Don't all of this shit. I'm just like, honestly, I be in my own zone. I'll do my best, but I don't be thinking about nobody when I'm dancing, bro. Like I really don't. I just okay, y'all. I be forgetting to put my phone on Do Not Disturb when I start recording. And so, like, if somebody call me, it be fucking up the recording. So I had to, I'ma just, kind of pick up, but then move forward too. But I'm going to give y'all a little recap. The recap low-key for myself a little bit because I know y'all just, listening. Anyways, so the whole little dancing situation, like I said, he had somewhat of a problem with me dancing, and he would bring up little stuff that I did that he didn't really like. But like, y'all, this is shit that's just like who I am, like for real, like the dancing part, and like, just I don't know how to explain it, because he never really said anything about like, quote unquote, my personality is just like more so the dancing part. And like I said, you know, I became kind of like the little hype girl or whatever during karaoke. So I would walk around and I'm signing people up. Everybody knew he was my nigga, you know what I mean? Like I said, we was in a car club and they would see us together type shit. So people knew or whatever. And I don't like, if I'm in a relationship, I'm definitely respecting it, period. So he just like will be like, want me right next to him the whole time. I'm like, well, you know, I'm like, you've been here since the beginning. Like, you know that I'm literally signing people up. You already know what's going on. Like, I'm not understanding. And y'all, this is an after hour spot. It's a hood spot. And literally you can see, especially him, because he was taller, you can literally see from one end of the club to the other. Like, if you really want to know what's up and really want to see what's going on, like, you could look around and see me, whatever. But, you know, it's just little shit like that. And it's just whatever. So, but I would try, because me when I'm dancing, I'm just dancing. Like, I damn sure not dancing for nobody. I don't give a fuck if no one looks, if no one pays attention, nigga. I don't care. If I'm dancing, it's because I felt like I wanted to dance in that moment type shit. So I'm not worried about nobody else. So I'm like, but to respect the person I'm in a relationship with, I do my best to keep my vibe only focused this way, make sure my ass don't go no other direction type shit. Like, okay, but whatever. So fast forward to March. Now that's something we talked about, whatever. So fast forward to March, I get a message on Facebook from this woman telling me that she's his wife, and it's me and some other girl, and he's a cheater and he's a liar. He told her he was doing some other stuff. And I'm just like, now, don't get me wrong. Of course, I'm reading what she's saying or whatever. And it was the woman that he had showed me, because he told me that they had a baby, but he said that himself wasn't for sure that the child was his. But I'm saying baby, but the little boy was way older. He's older than my daughter. So, and they had been married for, I think 10 years, if I'm not mistaken. And so the baby they were married when the little boy was still a baby type shit. So, you know, she's telling me this stuff, and I'm like, well, I know that I'm with him pretty much every day. Like, not pretty much. At this point, I'm literally with him every day. I was working downtown. He was picking me up from work and taking me to work and all of this. So I'm like, I know that you are his wife. Like, I knew that his divorce wasn't final. I did know that. But from what he had told me, they had zero communication. So I'm listening to what she's saying. I mean, I'm reading what she's saying, but I'm also taking it for a grain of salt. So I call him and I'm like, hey, yo, baby mama hitting me up. And she's talking about, you know, y'all still in a relationship and you've been lying to her, woo. I asked him again, you know, have you talked to her? Have you been talking to her? Blase. No, ain't talked to her since February. No communication, woo. He had told me like a few times where he had went to go see his son or give him something or whatever. And I asked him, even those moments, like, okay, so when you go into her house to see your son or whatever, like, is she there? What are you doing? Like, so you just not saying nothing to her? And he like, I mean, I don't know. If she's there, I don't never see her. And if I do see her, it's like while I'm leaving or whatever the case may be. But no, I don't even acknowledge her, blase. Okay, whatever. I don't have no reason to think you're lying. Like I said, at this point, we're literally together, physically together every day. Okay. So, I'm like, well, you need to, I tell him, I'm at work. When I get off, she's saying, she just want to talk. She want to clear the air and all of this. So when I get off of work, we can all have a conversation so we can clear the air. Especially, the mother of your child, I damn sure not would never be in between you and your son, like, ever. So, okay. I tell him, that we all need to be together when we have this conversation so she can understand what my role is in your life and how things gonna go. So I get off work, and this was like maybe 2 or 3 hours after me and him talk. So I get off work, and he's like, we're talking, and I'm telling him, okay, so when we get to the house, we'll just call her. He's like, yeah, I was pissed, so I ended up calling her, whatever. I'm like, so you talked to her already? He was like, yeah, but she pissed me off, so I hung up the phone, blase. I'm like, well, that wasn't what we agreed upon, whatever. So she still ended up calling me at the time that we agreed upon. So she calls, and she's saying, I'm talking to her, and I'm like, well, he in the background like, no, and don't nobody owe explanation on nothing, and blase. And she's like, well, that's not what you said. Now that you around her, you saying something different and all of that. So we get off the phone, and I'm telling him, like, see, that's why I didn't want to be in the blind about it, because I don't know what y'all conversation was before I was in presence, because I don't know her, but in the same token, you didn't give me the respect of letting me be in the conversation that I'm the only reason why this conversation really going on, because she reached out to me type shit. But okay, whatever. So that was like the beginning of March. So fast forward maybe like 2 weeks, we're out with my family celebrating a birthday, and me and him, and we go to the car to smoke. So he gets this message, a text message from a random number saying, say, man, what's going on with your wife? You need to check her posting these type of pictures. I'll be going off if my wife posts some pictures like this. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, first of all, at this point, we have been together, like I said, since November. It's March 2021 now. And so it had been a few months. Our relationship was public as hell. Definitely had been on Facebook. Like I said, we was both in the car club. So I'm like, anybody that knows you would know that we're in a relationship. So who is this person? Who would this person be? He like, the number wasn't saved in his phone or whatever. And then, they sent a link that's supposedly to Facebook, but I'm smart. I know how little text message app works and shit. But the link was like, when you're using a text message app, if you send a link of something, it's usually either going to give you an ad, or it's going to take you through the text message app to see what the link is. You know what I mean? So when you click on the link, if you send a Facebook link to somebody, or you send a picture or something on Facebook, it's going to take you to Facebook if you click on it. This link didn't take us to Facebook. It took us to a profile, but like on a website type shit. I don't know how to explain it. But it's pictures of his baby mama, wife, whatever. But they're not like racy pictures or anything. Like, she ain't attractive, she looked like she looked, but it wasn't nothing for nobody to be like, oh, why would she post these pictures? So now I'm like, what the fuck? Like, once again, I asked him, when was your last time talking to her? Like, I'm not understanding why somebody all of a sudden is reaching out to you talking about what she posted on Facebook. Like, this shit's stupid. I don't do none of this bullshit. Like, as a matter of fact, you know what? Let's call her. We can go see her today. She wanted to meet up. Call her. We going today. Today, we gonna go take your son his clothes that you've been wanting to take him. All of that shit. We doing that shit today. So he like, okay, whatever. He hit her up, and we plan to go over there. So we leave after we're done hanging out, and we pull up at her house. So we pull up. Actually, I'm lying. He didn't hit her up. He hit his son up and told his son, he was going to bring his stuff or whatever. So we get to her house. We pull up. She is like she's sitting in the driveway in her car. We didn't notice at the time. He talking to his son, and he get me out or whatever to introduce me to his son. And she had kids that weren't by him, but he had been around them since they were younger, so they called him daddy too. So I'm talking to them or whatever. The other kids were older, like they're in their late teens, almost. One of them was about to graduate, and the other one was that was her, she was close to graduating too. So we're talking, all of a sudden somebody just pulls out the driveway, like I'm talking about, like out the driveway, up and down the street. I'm like, what the fuck? And come real close to my car, like they gonna hit it. So I'm like, oh, is that your baby mama? Cause I don't play none of that shit. So I'm standing in the middle of the street now, like, what the fuck? So she pull her car back up in the driveway, and she hop out. You and your bitch need to leave. You and your bitch, why y'all at my house? Da-da-da. I'm like, whoa, hold up. Like, what? So he going off on her back and forth. Woo. So she like, you know you wrong, blase. So now I'm like, man, this shit stupid. So I'm about to get in the car or whatever, and she like she telling him like, I'm just asking for an apology. I wasn't trying to do none of this. I just want an apology. So I'm like, what do you feel like you need an apology for? And she was like, he didn't tell me that this whole time that he ain't been here, I've been thinking that we was together. He told me that the feds was looking for him, that he was on the run from the feds, and that he was living in Amarillo. I'm like, damn, Amarillo. I was like, whoa, you a moving motherfucker, because he had the relationship that he had just ended in August. He was living in College Station is what he told me. So I'm like, damn, like you getting around. And he was like, man, she a motherfucking lie. Woo. She was like, I've been talking. I was like, so y'all been talking? Like, I'm confused, because me and him have been together since November. Like, I from my understanding, y'all were in the process of a divorce, and blase. She was like, oh, she go get her phone and she pull up pictures. So picture them standing in front of the house, and iPhone show you the little date at the top of the picture. And then not only that, I'm a timeline receipts type of woman. You show me some receipts, if I can add up shit, if the math ain't math, then I'm gonna let you know. So I'm looking at the dates. Oh, that's that date. Bet. Let me go look at this. So that day, I go look at my messages where me and him was talking. And he had to go do something that day with a job, and then he did tell me that he was supposed to do something with his son. I see the message. I'm like, but you told me you hadn't talked to this woman. You ain't seen her. She told me how she had pulled up on him, get some money from him. She telling me, about all these messages, and it's dates. It was like he went to a funeral with her, like in November. All this shit. So all of the stuff coming out, but in my mind, y'all, I'm really just thinking about the shit he done went off on me on. You at a funeral with her November 11th, but you going off on me about some shit I had on my phone in November 6th. And you telling me you ain't got no communication with her. You going off on me about a stripper in December, and here you are in January taking pictures. Y'all, it's a whole family picture. Him, his son, his baby mama, a few of them. Pictures, all of them in front of the house. All of this shit, y'all. She jumped out. Somebody was taking that picture, and woo. I knew she wasn't gonna let me see my son. I'm so sorry. He crying, y'all. Like, I'm talking about crying type stuff. Like, everything. It's fine. Wait till I'm done. Just keep doing what you're doing. So I'm pissed. I'm like, nope, you got me fucked up. I'm gonna take you back to your house. I'm gonna get whatever little stuff I got from over there. Like, this shit's stupid. Like, cause you was lying for no reason. Like, if you was supposedly communicating with this woman because you didn't want no beef with her, you wanted to supposedly see your son. This your first time, from my knowledge, really attempting the stuff that we was taking him was shit that you bought him for Christmas. And this was your first time really adamantly trying to get over here, so I'm confused. But all of that is beside the point because you've been lying this whole fucking time. Okay? So I take him back home, whatever. That night, I called one of the girls that I had got cool with from the after hours, and I'm telling her what happened or whatever. And she like, just pull up on me, it's stripper night or whatever. So I pull up to the after hours, and y'all, I'm really just fucked up about it because I'm just like, I really can't believe these niggas just really been lying literally this whole fucking time. Like, this whole time you've been lying type shit. So that morning, the next day, I had to work, and I was working doing to-goes at this little restaurant or whatever. So he calls me. No, I called him because I was trying to see, where he was so I can go get my stuff. So I answer the phone, y'all. This man's face is wet. I'm talking like, I'm not exaggerating, wet. Face, cheeks red. I mean, like he been like lost somebody. And I'm like, you good? I haven't been so good. And I just do whatever, and all of this shit. Okay. So I go over there. He's like, I just want to talk to you. Please, can we talk? So we talked, and he have his little conversation. I was so dumb. I can't believe I did that. I don't know why I just didn't tell you the truth. I don't whatever. I'm like, I don't know. Like I was iffy about it. But obviously, because it wouldn't be a story if I hadn't, I decided to let that be something like, okay, look, this is gonna be the big thing that goes on in our relationship. Like, there shouldn't be nothing bigger than this, because this, honestly, I feel like you've been lying to me. Like, you've been lying to me the whole time, because this is something you could have told me. The only thing that kind of saved him is that we literally were together every day. And so I'm like, I know that whatever the case may be, is you just been doing some stupid shit. Whatever I took that as some male dumb shit, just not being able to take accountability for what you needed to do. Whatever. Now, baby mama knew who I was. It was understood, whatever. Okay, so I'm like, well, at least now maybe you'll be able to see your son. We can schedule some hangout time, whatever. Not too long after that, we did schedule time. We hung out at the park, had a little talk with her. Everything's supposed to be good, whatever. Okay, that's all done. So fast forward to May. Next month, April, and we talking about looking at an apartment. And at this point, I had gotten certified to be a notary, and I was in the process of trying to build my brand and doing my own thing to generate my own income. And he was talking about us moving together, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. I don't mind doing that or whatever, but my question is, am I able to focus on what I want to do for myself, and the little money I get, I can help out as I need to, but are you able to be like that support? He's yes, like that's cool. That's something I want to do anyway. I'm like, okay, cool. What's the budget? What you want me to look for? Whatever. Now, I'm not going to say the plan was for him to take care of everything. The plan was for him to take care of majority of things. That was the agreement, the plan. So he told me that rent-wise, budget $1,300. I found something that was like around $1,100. Now, if y'all remember from the beginning, I told y'all he told me that he made his money from doing his editing, photographing, doing his little videography, all of this stuff. Now, also, if you remember, I told you in the beginning when we was on the phone, not physically together every day, all the time, he would tell me about the meetings he would have, the photo shoots and all this stuff. I will say, once I was with him all the time and everything, I didn't see him go to not one meeting. A lot of his quote unquote work that he told me he was doing was done on the computer. He would say, somebody sent him an email and he did some edits or something, like edit videos, edit photos, whatever. doing websites. Okay, cool. I don't have no reason to think the man lying. Whatever. So we moved into our apartment like late May. And the mood swings kind of had got even more at this point. Like, I guess, once we were together more on a daily basis. And like I said, I was realizing like this is happening when we're not having sex. Now, in the beginning, when we had he got mad, y'all. His bark got deep. Oh, that was funny. Okay, anyways. We were in, we're getting to know each other. I was explaining to him, like the type of person, I'm a emotional intimacy type of person. I'm not I don't have to have sex. Like, sex is something that is like a extra thing for me. I get some of y'all, is what drives y'all want it all the time, all that. It's nothing wrong with that. I've been there. That's been my mindset before, but honestly, it's just, I'm good on it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm good. Now, do I understand that in relationship, sex is important, and that's something that you share with your significant other for y'all to create y'all own, sexual intimacy and all of that stuff, for sure. And I'm all for that. However, I make it clear, especially once I got back out there into the dating scene, I made it clear to all the men that I was dating with the intention of being with, not dating on some, let me get a free meal, or, this just a little one night stand, or this just a little bedroom boom type of thing. Dating like to get to know or whatever. I made it clear like sex is something that I can do without. So if sex is one of those things that's at the top of your list, then I'm somebody that you might want to, whatever. When me and him had this conversation, he was like, oh, that's not a problem for me. I'm a pleaser. I like to please as long as you're happy. Woo. But when I'm bringing up these mood swings, he's telling me, he had an issue with the fact that I wasn't as sexual as him. He had this high sex drive, and he's always thinking about it, or he thinks about it a lot. And I'm like, okay, I get that. However, that's not what you told me. And that's not how that's not what I presented to you as someone who would be all into sex all the time, wanting it or whatever. So the fact that it caused him to turn into this, like, y'all, when I say mood swings, I'm like waking up, slamming cabinets, walking around with a whole attitude. Now, I also make it clear that I'm clingy. I am clingy. The person I'm with, if we're in that good space, yes, I want to be up under you all the time. Like my man's, I'm always wanting to be in his skin. I don't get tired of him. I don't. Some of y'all, that might be a problem for y'all. That's why you ain't my man. It might be a problem. That may not be how you are. You ain't me. That's cool, but that's who I am. But I let that be known from the get-go. For him, when we had that conversation, I'm clingy. You gonna get tired of me. I'm like this, I'm like that, woo. But he would get into these mood swings and don't want me up under him, or when I am up under him, he act like I'm bothering him, whatever the case may be. Now, don't get me wrong. When I say I'm clingy, I don't get tired. I know that I don't get tired, but I understand that people do need their space. So I respect that. However, I'm also someone that is vocal. So if I'm doing some shit that you don't like, whether you my friend, relationship, whatever, and you don't tell me, I'm going to keep doing whatever the fuck I'm doing because I don't know that it's an issue. But if you let me know, I'm definitely going to work on not doing what the fuck you asking me not to do, if that makes sense. So we having these conversations, every time I'm bringing up to him, like, why, the way he's treating me is all weird, where he's telling me stuff that bothers him, but it's literally stuff that we've already talked about and shit that he was already okay with. So now it's starting to be like, I'm not liking it. And then, of course, anytime shit started to feel a certain type of way, I always go back to the whole baby mama situation. And I tell myself, like, bitch, you should have walked away then. Because this right here really showed you the type of person that he was. And you took on the little good shit that he was doing and held on to that. When that's the shit you done did in the past. And all of that shit. I was beating myself up, but still trying to make it work because I'm like, I don't know. I'm still trying to make it work though. I can't even tell y'all. But so not only that, mind you, we're in our apartment now. And mind you, he was supposed to be the person that was taking care of majority of things. I got the okay from him to get a little part-time or make money the best way I could and do what I wanted to do or needed to do for my brand and help out where needed. Well, he told me rent budget was $1,300. I found us something for $11, and it was 2-bedroom, 2-bath. We're good. We moved in the apartment, whatever. First month rent come around, he gives his little bit and says that's it. I'm not talking about monthly bills or nothing like that either. That just his little bit on the rent, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool, whatever. Now I did have what I needed to have, so I paid the rent, but I'm already seeing like, okay, clearly you didn't understand the agreement, or you lied about something, or whatever the case may be. Then income wise, I'm starting to see like, nigga, what do you do? Like, where are you getting money from? Because it wasn't like a consistent income. Like, I could tell that he didn't get money all the time, but he would get like these large spurts, like $1,300 here, at least once a month, right? $1,400 like once a month. So, but he would always make it seem like he was doing this big job for editing or whatever, and then he was getting paid. And then I'm just like, okay, I started thinking he was doing something else. I'm not saying like nothing illegal, but like I really think that he was like a little self-care caseworker for his elderly family members that I met, and that he was getting those checks. That's just what I think, because I'm gonna be honest with y'all. It was times where he would pawn his laptop, and I'm like, how you doing edits if you don't even have your laptop? And then he wanted to tell me he doing it on his phone. Y'all, he had an Android. And I'm not saying Androids are not capable of doing it, but he had an older Android, and he had Metro. So, I mean, not Metro, Cricket. So, like, no, sir, you're not doing no edits on this damn phone. But whatever the case may be, he was coming up with his little bit of money, whatever, right? Then he, I had paid for us, me, him, and my daughter. I paid for us to go to Disney World on a Disney trip. This I paid for it back in like June, I think, but the trip was supposed to be, it originally was supposed to be in July, but I pushed it back, and because it was a whole situation with my ID and all of this shit. So we didn't end up going until September. Now, at this point, I was really over the relationship. I was mad at myself because throughout 2020 and 2021, I used that really getting, back to me and working on myself mentally, spiritually, emotionally. So as I was doing all of this, I was mad at myself for realizing all the shit that I had accepted in the relationship that I was in, and that when I looked at it, I wasn't happy. Like, I was just comfortable. You know what I mean? And then, to be honest, it wasn't even really comfortable, because the person that I fell for and decided to be in a relationship with was not the person that I was getting on a daily basis. And so like I said in our previous sessions, I broke up with him in August, right? Told him, I'll be looking for somewhere for me and my baby to leave to, and that, our relationship wasn't really working. I told him, like, you don't seem like you like me. The shit that bothers you about me is who I am. It's stuff that I told you who I was, like, from the beginning, and you have an issue with that. So I don't know how to work with that. I can't change myself at my age to be in a relationship. There were certain things, of course, that I know that I need to work on and that I'm still working on, but relationship wise, I know who I am when it comes down to a relationship and what I want and what I'm able to give and accept and provide. And, he, came to me with this whole, we can work on it. He was just in a bad position mentally and all of this shit, whatever. Okay, I'm like, here we go again, trying to work on it. So fast forward, we go to Disney in September, It is what it is. Whatever the case may be, we come back. I was, like I said, I was pretty much done even before that. But now I'm like really just going through the motions. Like, like get out of this funk. Like I refused to be like I was in my dress rehearsal marriage and just keep holding on to it for what now in my marriage, of course I had a child and it was a marriage. This was just a relationship. We didn't have no ties. It wasn't nothing. And I wasn't even getting the person that I fell for. You know what I mean? So I'm like, what am I really losing? So finally, here it is. It's October and I'm just like, you know what? I really can't do this. I'm telling him like it's not even the same with the woo. We're supposedly working on it, but it don't seem like we're working on nothing. I don't feel like I'm getting anything out of this. Okay. So we had ended up getting our rent paid up for like 2-3 months. And I'm telling him I still think we need to be putting back rent money so that when it's time to pay rent again, we're good. We ain't gotta worry about it. Y'all, this man went and bought a motorcycle for $800. And we didn't have no food in the kitchen. Like when I say like we maybe had like noodles, some shit to make some sandwiches, but like no food, nothing to make a meal. Barely had gas in our cars. He had at that time he was driving a Benz, like a little like a 9, I think it was 90 something, but like a little Benz SUV type car. And I had a Hyundai, but my car was down. And he was like, well, we don't have, this is another form of transportation. And I'm like, first of all, the money that you put into a motorcycle, you can be putting into working on your car, number one. Number two, you don't know how to fucking ride a motorcycle. Like, y'all, didn't know how to ride a motorcycle. Never had rode a motorcycle, right? So this right here is the stupid ass shit that Bo used to do. Like, what kind of grown ass man go do some stupid ass shit like this? So I was like, oh no, hell no, nope, too much. It's too much. So by Halloween, no, like maybe 2 weeks after the whole motorcycle, y'all, first of all, the motorcycle never made it to our house. He ended up we rode to meet up with his daddy. He ended up taking us to his daddy's house because his daddy knew about motorcycles and was going to look at it, work on it, all this bullshit. And then we went back home. Like 2 weeks later, I was like, we officially had a break-up conversation. I told him, I would leave, just give me, a few months to get my shit together so that I could get out of the apartment. The lease wasn't going to be up for a few, like, we had just moved in May, and it was, I think, like a 14, 15 month lease, some shit like that. I don't know. So, I was like, we'll give me like 2-3 months and I'll be gone, if even that long. So, that was the agreement. And I had pretty much taken now what I did forget to say is that the apartment I furnished, I bought everything. I made sure when we moved into the apartment, he paid the little application fees and deposit or whatever, and I furnished the apartment. My our room, the living room, and my baby room, and the dishes and all that shit. So I moved the stuff out of the room to the living room, and that pretty much became where I stayed. He stayed in the room or whatever. So Halloween, his car ended up getting caught on fire or some shit. And so my cousin had picked him up, brought him home. He was sad, whatever case may be. About 2 weeks later, I had to go out of town to get my little cousin. So I left early that morning. I come home, my patio door is wide open, my front door is unlocked, window open. And I'm like, I had to use the restroom real bad. So I run in the house and I'm just wondering what the fuck going on. And then I noticed that his stuff is gone. So I'm texting him and I'm like, did you move out or, whatever? No response. I'm like, what the fuck? So I call him, no answer, whatever the case may be. I'm like, okay, cool. So I leave to go to work. I was working with my little sister at the time. So I leave to go to work and I'm telling her like what the fuck happened. And then I call his sister And I'm like, telling her what happened, and I'm explaining to her really what had been going on. And she's like, it's crazy to me because I've really been wondering, why his relationships don't work out. He's always telling me, it's these he gets in these horrible relationships, and I know the type of man he is. He's so nice, usually with when I'm like, yeah, that's what I fell for too. But he's very much so someone who's very capable of presenting himself a completely different way. Like I told him when we had our breakup conversation, if he would have been real with me from the beginning and real with himself, we probably could have been bomb ass friends. Like I told him, like we could have been real cool, because relationship, no, we were not compatible relationship wise, but based off of the person you told me you were, and based off of how you presented yourself, I thought that we could be in a relationship. I told him straight up, like, I feel like you took the attraction. You felt like my attraction to you and the fact that I was attracted to you would overcome whatever the shit that you didn't like about me. And that's not okay. Like, it's cool. You can be physically attracted to someone and not like them as a person. But I do believe we could have been good ass friends though. But because you lied to me and you done put me through this bullshit, we can't even be that, because I took on a lot of shit from you and I accepted a lot of shit. And honestly, like, the shit that I told y'all was just things that I thought about when I was getting our session together. But it was other shit that happened that, like, personality wise, like shit that he would say to me and make me feel about the type of person that I was and the type of person I was in a relationship. And like I would tell him, that shit sucks for your man to basically be telling you, like, you need to stop dancing like a hoe or acting like a slut or all this shit. And I'm just like, damn, okay, that's how you feel about me, but this is the person that I've been. And I definitely, I'm not saying I carry myself like a well put together woman, but I definitely feel like I carry myself as a woman. The stuff I do in public or whatever is things that I feel comfortable doing in public, and I don't feel like I'm disrespecting myself in any type of way. But like I explained to him, if those were things that you had an issue with, we shouldn't have been in a relationship, because you were exposed to all of those things before we were in a relationship. You were exposed to all of those things before you decided to move in with me. And shit, you've been lying to me. I still don't know really what you do. I don't know where your income come from. You supposedly you used to go to all these meetings, photo shoots, video shoots, all of the shit, but you ain't did a photo shoot since we've been together. I mentioned of him doing a photo shoot of me and my baby. He says he got to go get his camera from his friend. And I'm like, but you supposedly a photographer, so I'm lost. But I just got tired. Like, I got tired of walking on eggshells because you want to fuck and then, y'all, here's the thing too. You want to have sex all the goddamn time. He wasn't small, like I said, so it was a lot of work. And then he want to have sex for hours at a time. Who wants to do that? Not I. I don't give a fuck. Okay, so it was just too much. So I ended that relationship, and I felt good about ending the relationship. And being in that relationship showed me that, like, it's very possible for someone to be a great representative and to be able to show you a form of themselves for a very long time before you really see who they are. And instead of collecting red flags, as soon as you notice something that you're not okay with, address it. If it doesn't change, leave that shit alone, because it ain't gonna get better. No one, like, people, I'm not saying people don't change, but when somebody shows you who they are, believe them. Believe them. Like, for real though. Whew. Okay, besties. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. That was a little bit longer than I expected it to be, so hope y'all ready. Or hope y'all was ready, since it's at the end now. I hope you made it. I know I felt like I was rambling a little bit too, but I love y'all and y'all love me. Y'all know what it is. But there we go, y'all. We got another chill session down in the books. And we still going. My plan is to leave my mark in any and every way possible while achieving the dreams and goals I have for myself. But I want to hear from y'all too. Send me suggestions, ideas, critiques, all that. I ain't gonna stop, so y'all gonna love me or not. But I'm here to stay either way, my bestie boos. All my links and other things I do are on my link tree. So follow me on Instagram at just.mesha, JUS.MESHA, and follow me on TikTok at justmesha, JUSMESHA_89. Subscribe and like to the Bestie Boo podcast channel on YouTube. I'm going to create a Bestie Boo podcast, Instagram, and TikTok, but I need more besties first. So share, because it's up, bestie. All my besties that's been riding, I love it. And let's keep rolling. And remember, I ain't trying to teach you none, but if you learn something, that's good. Talk to you later, besties. Bye.